Why do I gotta subject myself to this whole bullshit again? It's been ages since I've seen the Higurashi anime. I tried to stream it, but I ended up saving it to the live stream and I got a copyright strike. I am not so sure if I want to deal with this shit. But then again, something is just driving me to continue on, seeing how this differs from the anime that I knew. We decided to find out all about the dark history behind Hinamizawa. And the fact that there might be more to the Hinamizawa villagers than we thought possible. I wonder how this is going to turn out. I let out a great big yawn. It was like morning had arrived just as I got to sleep. Hang on, I need to check something real quick. Making sure that all's right with the world. As Mom sets up breakfast, she gave me a pained smile. What's the matter? What time did you go to sleep last night? Well, I wanted to go to sleep at midnight, but I had some trouble with it. You were probably all worked up from the festival. That's not it. I crunched down hard on the pickled radish to hide the embarrassment. After all that happened the other day and our discussion about the sound Shion heard, that banging noise like a child far away, jumping up and down on a wooden floor. The story wouldn't get out of my head, so I had trouble sleeping. It was a long night, and I kept jumping at the slight sounds of faraway tree branches, which should have been either unhearable or too insignificant to notice. When I woke up to the morning sunlight and birds chirping, it made me feel pretty ashamed about it, but I felt far from refreshed this morning. Keiichi-kun, good morning. Huh? Keiichi-kun, your eyes are red. Why is that? Why? Good morning. I didn't get much sleep last night. I'm sleep deprived. Damn. Doesn't help that seeing the word yawn, I'm still sleepy. Even though I tried to sleep well last night. The festival yesterday was a lot of fun. Rena's assignment took a long time to go to sleep, so I took a long time to go to sleep too. In Rena's case, her assignment seems to still be wide awake. They should have this kind of festival more often, so we can have lots of fun together. Yep. Rena talking about the festival yesterday made me remember everything I nearly forgotten from last night. The inside of the ritual storehouse had been so utterly different from the relaxed, bright, everyday life of Hinamizawa. All those stories Takano told me, the mysterious incidents that occurred on the day of the Watanagashi festival every year, a strange instance where one person would die and one would disappear. The old stories of Hinamizawa flickering like a candle behind them, the numerous, horrifying traditions of the old Onigafuchi village. The villagers with demon blood in them, the terrible cannibalistic feasts, the poor sacrifices kidnapped from human villages, victims of the Onikakushi. To quell the rage of Oyashiro-sama, the ritual involving living sacrifices, there were also many, many others. So many stories that just remembering them just puts me in a foul mood. Most of them were fiction. They were true. We didn't need to fear them just because they were real, since it all happened so long ago. Such a very long time ago. Where's Mi-chan? She's late. Before I realized it, we arrived at the place where we'd usually meet up with Mion. Probably because I got so lost in thought. We agreed that she isn't here by now, we could just go ahead, right? Should we? Mion being late wasn't too rare an occurrence. occurrence, but today she was unusually late. A few of the ominous tales from the night before came back to life in my mind again. Who would die? Who would disappear? Couldn't have been Mion.
What should we do, Keiji-kun? If we don't get going, we'll be late.
She'll be here. She didn't call to tell us she'd be staying home today, right? How about we wait 5 more minutes? She looked at her watch and seemed a little worried, but she nodded with a satisfied smile. Could have fooled me. I don't see a watch. If we had to wait 5 minutes, we'd have to run as fast as we could to school or we'd be late. As soon as I thought that, we spotted Mion running towards us out of breath.
Mi-chan, you're late.
You waited? You shouldn't have just gone out ahead. She was breathing heavily. Her face was all red. Her house was right down this road, wasn't it? It wasn't far enough away for her to end up like this, wasn't it?
Mi-chan, are you not feeling well?
Now that she mentioned it, Rana pushed Mion's bangs away and put her head to her forehead. Rana, your hand's pretty cold.
Mi-chan, you're a little warm.
It's no big deal. Give it half a day. I'll be fit as a fiddle.
Are you really okay? You don't have to push yourself, you know.
What's this? Gei-chan, are you worried about me? Nice of you. That wasn't like Mion at all. She must have had it pretty bad.
I just think you shouldn't push yourself so hard. We can tell the teacher you have to take the day off.
I'm fine. I managed to take some medicine, and I think it's working already. She forced an energetic expression onto her face and flexed her biceps at us. Alright, let's go. Don't overdo it, but of course there's the time.
Uh-oh, we need to run or we won't make it.
The morning sure is thrilling. Maybe it's just what I need to shake off this slowness. Let's take a dash for it. Wait, you're sick. You shouldn't be going overboard. She began to run vigorously anyway.
Mi-chan's older than us, right? She knows her own body better than anyone.
I decided to leave it at that and assume she was just fine. Great. Better get going too. We began to run after Mion. The school looked the same as always. The hours passed listlessly. The lack of sleep took its toll. If there was a sport where people competed by sleeping, I'd be world champion right now. The trick to overcome this sort of dangerous situation was to hold your pencil upside down. Why? So you don't draw strange patterns all over your notes while half asleep. If you were holding your pencil upside down, that wouldn't happen, would it? Something that felt like an eraser hit me in the head 6 times. What's that for, Sadako? I hadn't done a single thing. Who else will play a prank on me like this? Oh, it was chalk, not an eraser. What the? Behind me, like a female outlaw, I hold erasers with the teacher's shadow, holding 3 pieces of chalk in each hand. Maibara, why don't you wash your face? Right, gladly. That alone was enough to wake me up. Sorry, I have an itch. That alone was enough to wake me up, but I flew in the hallway as if shoved out by the pressure exuded by the teacher's sheer power. If I was going to wash my face anyway, I would rather use the sinks out front rather than the ones in the dark restroom. Thinking that, I left the hallway and went to the entrance. The sunlight was strong. So strong you wouldn't think it was June. I turned the faucet and with a lifeless bubbling noise, lukewarm water came pouring out. If I let it run for a few minutes, would it get cold? I looked at it absent-mindedly for a little while. I knew you'd choose these sinks. The ones out front just feel better, don't they? Oh, Mion. No cutting class. I stuck my hands into the water to find it had gotten so cold, it seemed strange it had ever been warm. I scooped it up and splashed it against the face. Once I was done, I moved out of the way, and Mion did the same. So how's that cold doing? You're sleepy because of the medicine. Can't be from the lack of sleep, alright? What? Actually, this is a secret. But after the festival yesterday, I got wrapped up in the party my relatives were having. And, I had a little bit. A bit. She made a gesture like she was tilting a cup to her mouth. Which means you didn't have a cold or anything. Don't tell me you're hungover. How old are you? Give me a break. I really don't feel well, you know. I suppose she'd be feeling lousy either way. Still, you treat colds and hangovers in completely different ways. I was worried over nothing, and I guess that's just like you. She scratched her head, a little embarrassed. She didn't seem to be feeling well, but now that I knew it was a hangover, I didn't need to worry much. It would go away with time, after all. Ugh, my head is pounding, so the teacher told me I should go home early. You cheater! So you're gonna go home now, huh, Mion? Now that I looked, she had her bag with her. She must be on her way home. Yep, I feel bad about it, though. I'll get some rest at home like a good girl. Sorry I can't make it to the club. Would you take over as leader for today, Kei-chan? I don't know if that'll happen. We'll have that unspoken rule where you don't do club unless everyone is there. We never did it when you had to go to your part-time job, did we? She left, Riley. We didn't need to worry about her. No matter how much fun we have, though, I think that feeling guilty about friends who can't share it's a sign of a really fantastic friendship. In that sense, the club Mion had created is a wonderful thing. As I thought about it, the moisture on my washed face dried up. I suppose we were talking too much. If I didn't get back to the classroom, I could get in trouble. Well, alright. Later. I'm going back. So be careful on your way home. Don't walk into a sewer or a brook, got it? I left it at that, turned around and started heading back to the classroom. Oh, one more thing, Kei-chan. She stopped me and I turned my head to listen. What's up? This may sound weird, but don't think too hard about it. Depends on what it is. Last night, near the end of the festival, did you see Tomatake or Takano anywhere? I tensed. You know Tomatake and Takano, right? You remember Kei-chan when the four of you were talking during the setup the day before? If I could, I wanted to forget about sneaking into the storehouse that night as soon as possible. So hearing the names of the people I was with at the time got to me. Besides that, though, why was Mion asking me a question like that? I ended up staring at her, unable to answer immediately. Was she asking to see if I'd seen them or not? Or was she asking the question knowing that I had? I couldn't tell. Maybe I might have seen them around, but I don't know. My vague response was clearly not to Mion's liking. What answer was she expecting from me? No way for me to know. I see, then. Last one. The same night, did you see Shion? My heart bled into my throat again. The tiny needles buried under Mion's words pricked into me. Didn't you ask me that yesterday? I think I told you that I wasn't sure if I had or not. Did you? I guess I just thought I'd get a different answer if I asked you again. I noticed something in her eyes. Something indescribable. Tomatake and Takano. Shion too. She was asking me about them. No doubt about it. Last night, the four of us snuck into the ritual storehouse. She probably knew everything. So what? Not really a curse, is there? That's right. Even Shion and Takano said yesterday during the festival there was no curse. Rather than a curse, it was probably the doing of the villagers. My blood curdled. Mia was almost without a doubt aware we snuck into the storehouse. Is she? I mean, it was nothing strange. I screwed up bad flipping on the light switch last night. If Mia had been searching for me, it was simple to imagine that she had seen a momentary light and come to figure out what was going on. Did you really not see her? Why are you so intent on knowing if I did or not? Not important. It's just that there's some people who are speaking poorly of Tomatake, Takano, Shion, and you. I didn't really hear what they were saying, though. Unpleasant sweat dripped to my arms, and the sound of it hanging from my fingertips was so annoyingly loud. I don't believe you were doing something bad. I just want to ask a bit about it, so I did. So, I'm sorry for making you uncomfortable, okay? I found myself unable to reply. My reaction must have made it obvious what the truth was, yet I couldn't explain myself. Kei-chan, you weren't with those three, right? Yeah. I wrung an answer before ragged breaths. Her expression softened a little. That's good. I'll have to tell them. You weren't involved in anything bad, okay? So I'll make sure to tell everyone. Please do. Tell them I wasn't doing anything bad. To everyone. Make sure. Everyone. Everyone? Wait. Who is everyone? Okay, later. I'll be better tomorrow. Bye-bye. Wait a tick. What did you mean by everyone? Just then, a freezing cold hand touched the back of my neck. Hey, you're late, Maibara. How long does it take for you to wash your face? The teacher. I was taking so long, she came out to get me. I'm sorry, I was just speaking to Mion. I turned around, but she had crossed through the schoolyard without me realizing and was now standing at the gate. Come on, back to your studies. Quickly now. She was being insistent. We returned to the entrance. I looked back one more time and Mion was nowhere in sight. Keiichi, you haven't seemed well all day. Is it that evident? It's clearly because he had far too much fun yesterday. I don't want to be told that by one who got lost. Your face was all red and you were nearly crying. Satoko was so cute last night. My friends did their best to try and cheer me up, but it just couldn't lighten the mood. Was it far worse than I thought? Had I really done something terrible last night? The thoughts were running with me for the rest of the day. Bye, Keiichi-kun. I'll see you tomorrow. By the time I realized it, I was in front of my own house. Mi-chan had a cold, right? Could you have a cold too? Could you? I'm fine. I may look scrawny, but I never missed school because of cold. Both of you didn't look so good today, though. Thank you for worrying about me. I'm fine. Idiots don't catch colds, remember? Rena smiled, waved at me, and left. Ugh, with my shoulders bobbing up and down from breathing heavily, I entered the house. As soon as I got back in, Mom called out. What? Keiichi, I'm sorry, but you go to the library and return a few books for me? I don't feel like it. Your dad and I have to wait inside the house for a phone call right now. We can't leave. I need to return them today. Could you do it? Sheesh. Did it have to do with Dad's job? No point in arguing if they'll bring that up. I guess so, but I don't know where the library is. Oh, you don't? A little past Okinomiya Station. Just then the phone rang. My parents' faces immediately turned grim. Mom snatched up the receiver. Hello, Maibara speaking. I'm sorry? Yes, he's right here. Then she thrust the receiver at my face. It's for you, Keiichi. Don't take too long. I tried to ask who it was from, but asking the person on the phone directly would be faster. Hello? Ah, this is Onozaki, the younger one. Hello? Do you have time to talk right now? It was Shion. The older sister had a hangover, but the younger made no reference. Shion? I thought you'd be sleeping in today with a hangover, saying it was Mion. What? Mion had a hangover? Oh, so like her. She laughed warmly, but Mom glared at me, silently telling me to finish up. Whoops, sorry. My parents are waiting for a phone call, so I can't talk too long. What do you need? There's something I want to talk about, but we can't talk long. I guess that's that. She sounded a little disappointed. What would Shion want to talk to me about? Now I was interested. How about we meet in person? If you could show me where the library is too, that would be great. You mean the public library near the station? Yeah, that's fine. I go past there on my way to work anyway. Okay then, you know where I usually meet up with Mion? At that intersection, a small path from the Sonosaki house splits. Okay, Chan. Did I not tell you? I don't live at the main house. I live in Okinomiya. We can meet by the ticket machines at Okinomiya station. That would be great. Main house? Living in Okinomiya? Now that she mentioned it, it always seems like the Sonosaki sisters weren't communicating. So do they live in different houses? Now that she mentioned it, Rena said she never met the younger sister despite going over the place sometimes. Okay, we'll meet at the station then. I'll go right there right away. Bye. I set the receiver down, and Mom immediately thrust a large pile of books on my face. 6 volumes of long-form mystery novels. Mom had her own hobbies.
Thank you, Keiichi. Be back by nightfall.
Got it. Okay, I'm going. I suppose I changed my clothes and grabbed my bike key. I climbed the stairs to my bedroom. Shion had been waiting for me already, so meeting up was a smooth process. Wow, Mion never keeps her appointments. I mean, honestly.
Making my sister the standard for everything will get you in trouble.
What? Shion seemed a little unsteady. She was drinking with Mion last night, wasn't she? You were drinking last night too, weren't you? Don't try and hide it. You definitely went home from school early.
Oh, too bad. I've been at home all day in the first place. I'm smarter than Mion, after all.
Hey, I don't think you can call plain hooky smarter.
You should finish your errand first. We don't have that much time. We're going to the library.
Is that right? Yeah, thanks. Mom had to return some books today. So, is it far?
Really close by. As she said that, we spotted the signboard for the library just immediately.
If it was this easy to find it, I guess I didn't need Shion to show me where it was after all. We rode around a bend. The building was right there.
Shishibone Public Library. We lived in the country, so I hadn't expected too much, but it was pretty big.
The first floor was a government office, so the library was only on the second floor, but it still looked large enough to fit a decent collection of books. We passed through the automatic doors and were greeted by the cool breeze of an air curtain. The cicadas had been loud outside, but it was quiet in the library. The air conditioning inside was keeping the temperature at an ideal level for the books, which had that mildewy smell unique of old paper. I guess every library is basically the same. If there was one difference, it's the people studying for tests that weren't taking up the seats. I was one of those people, but now it seemed like a distant memory. Hello, I have books I'd like to return. The librarian went through the process of checking them in, and then returned my mom's library card. Shion was going around the bookshelves with a deep interested look on her face, like she wasn't the type who'd visit the library very often.
Sorry for the wait, I'm all done.
Libraries sure are nice and cool, aren't they? I want to work in a library one day. Don't know whether to call that boring or dependable. Pretty small dream compared to your sister. Mion would definitely want to be a hard-working employee for an international trading company or some crazy job that involves her running around the world. Compared to that, what Shion said is pretty heartwarming.
Well, we need to keep our differences dear to us. We're not copies, we're two different people, called Shion and Mion.
Twins have a lot to think about, huh?
Still, sounds fun. I don't have any brothers, so there's just me and my parents. It could get a little uncomfortable. The same for me. I don't live with Mion after all. Oh, she said something like that, didn't she? Why though? I mean, sisters living apart? Rather unusual. We were getting tired of talking while we were walking. We ended up going to the lounge area, which was vacant, to continue the conversation. Yeah, Mion lives at the main house, and I live in Okinomiya. Why do you mean by the main house? You make it sound like you're nobility. That's just the main house. The Sonosaki family's main house. Mion's the successor. She lives with Nana, and apparently studies all sorts of things as preparation to be head of the family. The head of the family? Kind of fits her personality, but at the same time it didn't. Kei-chan, you just moved here. This will sound like I'm boasting, but we of the Sonosaki family are kind of personages here out. Seriously? The word didn't really match the extreme sociable air Mion and Shion gave off. From what Shion explained, the Sonosaki family goes way back to the beginnings of Hinamizawa. After the war, they had a bunch of successful ventures and extended their influence to a wide area. The Sonosaki house is a foundation on which the entire family cooperates, though the current family head grandma was the one who built it. The entire family would provide backup to help one relative with a business venture. They were like a huge living company. This lead them avoid tax-related problems and help relatives' ventures succeed one after another using large amounts of money. If you ever go for a walk through Okumiya, pay attention to the signboards and stuff. There's a ton of shops that are managed by the members of the Sonosaki family. Now that you mentioned it, that toy store looked like it was managed by relatives as well. Does that mean your relatives operate Angel Mart? Even what few shops I was familiar with, somehow they were involved with the Sonosaki family. Definitely surprising. The family is particularly strong in finance and real estate. Even a lot of members of the Chamber of Commerce and Industry either have the last name Sonosaki or are relatives. There are Sonosakis in City Council and Prefectural Assembly too, since they have the Okinomiya area given to them strong electoral support, you know? So, wait, this is all escalating pretty quickly. Her relatives operate shops in downtown Okinomiya, and they're especially strong in finance and real estate. On top of that, a lot of those are in the Chamber of Commerce and the Industry. They're relatives, and they're even people elected to local offices. So then the Sonosaki family is pretty famous in this area?
Why, yes. Crazy.
There's a cigarette-smoking, overweight old man interrupting the conversation. Oh, wait. It's Oishi! Good afternoon. Are you on a date today?
Oh, what would I give to be young again?
If you thought we were on a date, why are you even bothering us, Oishi? Oh, that was it. Thank you. Oishi, the police officer. Not this person who came to my rescue before I got involved with those delinquents before. Yeah, that guy. Remember? Now that I thought about it, Mion didn't seem to like him very much.
Now, I apologize. I heard a familiar voice, so I came over to see.
Oishi laughed coarsely, not showing any signs of giving up. As Shion watched him do so, I didn't feel the same sense of malice from her as I had from Mion.
So, Mayaba, right? You're a tough guy. Two-timing the Sonosaki sisters, are you?
I'm not two-timing anyone. I turned around to look at Shion and plead for help, but she grinned and maintained the silence. Her gaze wandered. She looked at the clock. Sorry, Kei-chan, I really need to get to my job. What? Oh, did you? Wait, you have something to talk about today? Now this weird man is here, though. Yep, I'll see you later. Oh, I'll give you a call after I'm done. It'll be okay to call at night, right? Yeah, probably okay. I'll talk to you later then. Bye. She left so fast she was practically running. Oishi was waving at me with a grin. I felt like I'd been left here as bait so she could get away. Shit. Shion, did you steal something after we was done with the fucking shit thing, did you? I hope not. I hope he didn't try to steal some candy or some shit like that. You delinquent. Maybe she was lying about having to go to work.
You're quite the big shot being so close to the Zonozaki daughters. Maybe I should rethink how I talk to you.
He put a coin into a vending machine as he said something a bit appalling.
Is iced tea okay with you? You want milk in it? Oh, no, I'll put some in. Here you are.
He handed me the cup of tea, filled to the brim with ice as I looked on absent-mindedly. I don't think I'm obligated to have a guy like this buy me a drink, but he did get it for me. I'll thank him. Was always just killing time? We don't know each other well, but he still engaged me in conversations on all sorts of dumb things. When I thought back to how I talked with Shion, this seems like a total disaster.
Firebar, how much do you know about Sonozaki?
Other than what I heard just now, nothing. Until then, I hadn't known anything that either Mion or Shion other than the fact that they were interesting. I really did only just learn that she was the daughter of a prestigious family.
The Sonozakis are a Yakuza group with this entire region under their thumb. Plus, her father's a high-rank executive in this blank Yakuza association.
I guess it's redacted. Whoopsie.
Did you know that?
What? An executive?
Have you ever seen where Shion lives? It's the very picture of a gang boss's house. Protected by high walls, barbed wire fence, security cameras. If you have the chance, you should go and visit her.
She'd mentioned me on being a successor, but Jesus, a Yakuza group?
No, not at all. A boring old Yakuza group isn't the only thing Mion Sonozaki will inherit. She's inheriting the family itself. I'll leave it to you to mull over what exactly that means.
Oishi had spoken lightly about all this from start to finish, but what he was saying wasn't light in the least. It was abrupt and unbelievable.
If Mion wanted to, she should kill someone in the middle of the street. They'd still cover it up. Not only would witnesses not show up, she put a pressure on the police too.
Mion would never kill someone.
She wouldn't. I'm just speaking hypothetically.
Your name, Oishi, right?
That's right.
Oishi, whatever family Mion comes from, it doesn't change the fact that she's the best friend I could have. And I am proud of that. I don't appreciate people speaking ill of her. I let my quiet anger show through my gaze as I stared at him. Of course, I could never see him tell what he's thinking, so I don't know if it had any effect.
Now let me be frank. If Mion was suspected of a handful of incidents, what would you think?
Suspected? Incidents? You can't just say terrible stuff like that on a whim. It would be a misunderstanding, of course. Mion may say some dangerous things, but I'm not sure she's the kind of person who would do something that awful.
Hey, Bar, keep your voice down. We're in a library.
He shushed me, but in a state of heightened excitement as I wasn't going to be calm so easily.
Please, calm down.
As I said before, the family holds a lot of power in this region, better or worse, so if anything happens, it would immediately be suspected. And I accidentally right-clicked. Whoopsie! I'm trying to stretch my arms, and I accidentally right-clicked. Whoopsie! Trying to do this comfortably. I've been having pains the past few recordings.
I'd appreciate it if you understood that.
Well, I know what Oishi's trying to say. Combining it with what Shion told me before, the Sonosaki family is huge and controls quite a bit from Hinamizawa to Okinomiya. Mion, meanwhile, is a successor who's apparently holding strong influence over the entire family. Still, is that all? The only reason they're suspecting her?
I'm just doing my job here. Not to doubt Mion of anything, but to clear up suspicions surrounding her. Think of it like that.
You could take a dog out of a meat truck. It was the definition of a shrewd, unfair adult. At this point, I began to think that it was no coincidence I'd meet him.
Oishi, do you need something from me?
Yes, I do. Keiichi? He answered in an absent tone of voice. Beyond's being suspected of something, and you came to hear from a friend of hers. Me. Isn't that it? It's not it. I didn't come to talk to a friend of Beyond's. I came here to talk to you, Keiichi. It would probably be a bother to you had I visited your home. To me? What does the police want with me? I haven't realized this fake coincidental meeting had me as target, and my mood immediately turned foul. You don't need to be so tense. Calm down and just answer a few questions. Am I being questioned? Let's call a chat with a guy you happen to run into. He freely suggested that I relaxed. That said, behind his eyes was a light which I could only see, that was sharp as a hawk. If I tried in vain to run away, he might actually take me in and bring me to interrogation room or something. Undoubtedly an unpleasant thought. You had a roaring good time at the Higurashi festival last night, did you? Don't beat around the bush, please. I can't do small talk, please. Last night during the festival. Did you see Jiro Tomataki and Mio Takano? Oh God, I could plainly feel myself give a start. Where did I put those pictures? Oh, there we go. He opened a small notebook and removed 2 photographs. I didn't have to look. Well, who knows? I might have seen it around, but I don't remember well. I was asked the same question for the second time today. I gave the same answer for the second time, too. Your memories are blurry? You couldn't have possibly been drinking or anything, have you? I got the same answer as I had from Mion. I realized he wasn't taking my vague reply well. Why is he asking me the same thing Mion did? The dark feelings I have nearly forgotten due to my conversation with Shion came rushing back in a hurry. Hell. We snuck into the sacred ritual storehouse. Probably a punishable act. It was on a tiny impulse. While it may not count for much now, I do feel sorry about it. Alright, I'll ask you again. Did you see Jiro and Mio Takano at the festival the other night? His tone was soft, but there was a dreadfulness in his voice. Clearly different from the first time. I'm scared. It was exactly how I felt. Even if you repeat the question, my answer is not going to change. I don't remember. There wasn't any better answer that I could give him. I didn't have the balls to say that I didn't see them, nor the courage to admit that I had. I see. I just thought that maybe I'd get a different answer if I asked a second time.
I guess I just thought I'd get a different answer if I asked you again.
God damn it.
I'm fucking scared now to look into Oishi in those eyes. How about if I change the question? Come, Mayabara. Relax. Oishi grabbed my shoulders and squeezed them as if trying to give me a massage. It mostly just hurts. Why would he ask the same as Mion? If he's asking the same things, then the next question's going to have to be... On the same night of the festival, did you also see Shion Sonosaki? I wondered what that sound was, and when I looked down, I saw that there was the unmelted ice in the cup I was gripping in my hands. My hands were trembling, rocking the ice back and forth. Realizing, I hastily put the remaining ice in my mouth and crushed it down. Sorry, I might have seen her, but you know, she looks just like Mion. I might have just mistaken the two. But that can't be. Suddenly, Oishi grabbed both my shoulders and hunched down to give me a level stare. Must be what it's like to be a deer in headlights. I want to look away, but I just can't. First time I've experienced such a piercing stare. Mion and Shion wears completely different clothing. You can't be mistaking the two so easily. I would think, Mayabara. His voice was harsh. same as when Mion said. I could feel the heartbeat quickening. When I realized he could feel it through my hands on my shoulders, I got more scared. Why were these two asking the same questions about last night? Was sneaking into the storehouse that bad? I shouldn't have let Takano talk me into it. Tomotaki casually said to check it out too. Even Shion, if she hadn't encouraged me. I understood. I was the one most at fault here. I shouldn't have let the curiosity get the better of me. I shouldn't have gone into that forbidden storehouse. Oishi, I think that's our cue to get out of here. A young man in a suit came into the lounge. From the way he held himself, I knew immediately he was Oishi's subordinate. So it is. Closing time already, huh? I hadn't realized it until he said something. The jingle and announcement telling the patrons the library is closed. Patrons that the library is closed has started playing without me realizing it. I was so irritated, so overwhelmed I couldn't even hear it. Well then, Mayabara, we're out of time. I guess I'll take my leave then. I'd like to talk with you more about this at your leisure when we have more time. This isn't a joke. If I never saw him again, it would be too soon. Oishi followed his subordinate and left the lounge behind him. However, he spun back around. Right, Mayabara. What is it? Those two questions I asked you before. You don't remember well enough to answer either of them, correct? Right. Just so you know, you saw them all yesterday. You were walking along, the four of you, having quite a pleasant time, near the stone steps. Saw you with my own eyes. I caught my breath, and my heart seemed like it was about to stop. What a detestable person. He knew, and he was testing me. We'll meet again. Have a good year. I sat there like a rock, unmoving, until I could no longer hear the clacking sounds of their footsteps. I was on my way back home. The cries of the cicadas accentuated the already lonely evening. More time had passed than I thought. The orange of the dusk sky was being chased down little by an indigo color approaching from the east. Exhausted from the slow climb towards Hinamizawa, without even noticing it, I got off my bicycle and pushed it uphill. I don't understand any of this. No one had told me to my face that I'd done something wrong. It might have been much easier for me that way. What happened yesterday was just my curiosity. No more than a quiet prank. No more than having the courage to cross a red light as long as you did it with other people. The storehouse for ritual implements. Hollow ground, only accessible to the family of the priest. For sure I'd seen terrifying things that I never imagined would be there. Thinking on it now, it didn't matter what was stored away inside. It didn't make the wrong I had committed any more right. What the four of us did, Mion seemed to know. For some reason, even the police were trying to learn on what the four of us did. Did we do something bad? Really, it doesn't seem matter how wrong it was. I did something wrong, and it was nothing more than that. But yet, I couldn't accept it. I didn't apologize to Mion or Oishi. All I did was shield myself with ambiguities. I did something wrong yesterday. I set foot into a forbidden storehouse for a little bit of mischief. I'll forget everything I saw. I won't ever do the same like that ever again. I'm very, very sorry. If I apologize like that, will they forgive me? The sudden cool evening air left no room for such sentiment, as I mercilessly chilled my feet, urging me to head home as soon as possible. In the end, the evening air was correct. If I trudged along with such an isolated road, and regrets would pile on top of regrets, and nothing would change. Let's just go home. I'll go home, go to my room, put on my favorite music or something, and go to bed.
Might sound plain and boring, but it's probably the strongest I've felt all day. Now that I made a decision, there's no point in dawdling in a place like this. I sat back on my bike. I pushed hard on the pedals. I rapidly advanced forward. I steadily gained speed. The wind was cutting and mercilessly cold, but it actually felt good, as if it were to softly punch me. I didn't eat much dinner before excusing myself early and returning to my bedroom. My mom called me from downstairs. Keiichi, you have a call from a Sonosaki. Sonosaki? Neon? Maybe Shion. And I just remembered she had something she wanted to tell me. Always she had interrupted us, so she didn't get the chance. Shion had said she called me tonight. Hello? Is that you, Shion? Hello, ran into a bit of trouble today, did we? She said it so plainly I got a bit annoyed. She was the only one who left me there and ran. So don't say that. I gave you the signal to run away with me, didn't I? You just sat there looking dazed, Kei-chan. I wasn't dazed. All of a sudden you left me there, and after that I had to put up with the Oishi guy for ages. Oh, don't bitch at me about it. I can't believe it. She passed it off like that. She looks just like me, and yet inside she's this different. I got a little irritated myself when I realized I was somewhere in my mind hoping for the same reaction I would get from Mion, even though she might be a different person. Sorry. Next time I'll run away first and leave you there. Hey, ladies first. She laughed refreshingly. When I heard her voice, I realized she wasn't really that angry or anything. It was just as she said. The cause of my temper was because it was my own fault for not leaving immediately. I'll stop blaming on others. Blaming it on others would be, Okay. You have something to tell me, right? Oh, yeah. I mean, if you already know, then it's not something that bears repeating. Do you already know? Shion lowered her voice, as if she were glancing around. I have no idea what I could already know. Sorry, but I have no clue what you're talking about. At least give me a hint. So that means you don't know. She seemed to take my stupid-sounding question as evidence. However, her voice didn't sound disappointed or exasperated in the slightest. Actually, it's about last night during the Watanagashi festival. My entire body jolted as I was assailed by a terrible feeling. Are you going to ask the same goddamn questions? Hello? Keiichi? You listening? Yeah, I am. So what about last night? The four of us went in there, right? Huh. She didn't beat around the bush. Whether or not I wanted to admit it, that was the actual honest truth, and I couldn't act like it hadn't happened. Then after that we walked away together, and then we went our separate ways near the stone stairs, right? Takano and Tomotaki went to the stream, and you stayed there, Kei-chan. I went over to see some relatives. Yeah. Why did you ask? We won't make any progress if we keep asking each other questions, so let me ask this first, okay? You mean, did I see Tomotaki or Takano last night? Huh? Oh yeah, did you see the two of them after that? I'd be lying if I said I wasn't surprised. Third time I've been asked this question.
Last night near the end of the festival, did you see Tomotaki or Takano anywhere?
Did you see Jiro Tomotaki and Mio Takano? Oh yeah, did you see the two of them after that?
I can't take it anymore!
Why? Why the fuck? So what the hell's going on? Okay, why are you asking me such a question? No, Kei-chan, I'm asking the question. Just answer me. Did you? If you answer first, then I'll answer. My shabby response betrayed how scared and small I felt today, after everything that happened. She didn't say anything for a few moments. Just as I was beginning to think I really put my foot in my mouth without a response, she finally answered me. Of course I didn't see them. My relatives were with me and they can vouch for that. I didn't see them either. People can vouch for me too. Mion, Renan, and everyone else. Now that we knew our answers matched, she let out a sigh that sounded more relieved than anything. Thanks for answering me honestly. I guess I'll let out.
Apparently last night, Takano and Tomatake died. Sorry, Sion. What was that you just said? Last night, Takano and Tomatake died. Takano was found, burned to death. Tomatake it looked like suicide. I found out this morning. I heard my dad talking to a relative on the phone about it. Late last night, a police car was on its way back from festival security duty. He discovered Tomatake lying in the middle of the road heading towards Okinomiya. He clawed out his throat and died. It's just the same situation as the previous story arc. However, we got Takano found burned. He clawed out his own throat? That bright and cheerful Tomatake committed suicide? It can't possibly be right. The police did an autopsy. Died with his own fingernails. Scratched his throat so hard he ruptured his blood vessels and bled out. Died in a pool of his own blood. That's what they said. I've never heard of such an insane suicide. You can't just scratch your own throat like that. I realized I was yelling too loudly and I lowered the force I was putting in my voice. I didn't want my parents to hear me, so I switched to the cordless phone and ran up to my room. Sorry for yelling. So, was that a suicide? In her case, it's a little unclear. Takano's body was found in the mountains of the Gifu prefecture. Employees at a rest stop nearby reported to police late that night that they could see flames in the mountains. Then firefighters dispatched there, and they were the ones that found her. An autopsy concluded it was the burned corpse of a half-naked female. They initially considered the body beyond recognition, but directly after there was a request from a dental comparison from a different prefectural police station in Okinomiya, and the results concluded it was Mio Takano. The cause of death was confirmed, but it was highly likely to have been a homicide since she was in her undergarments, and the clothes were nowhere in the area. The oil drum fallen over, so it was also possible she burned herself to death. It could possibly have been suicide. If you're going to die, there are plenty of easier ways, aren't there? It can't be suicide. That's what I think. Unthinkable that Tomatake would kill himself too. After the two of us rattled on at each other, there was a silence as we paused to catch our breaths. As we calmed our nerves, right then I understood what the story was going to. I think it will end up being Oyashiro-sama's curse. We all did more than enough to deserve it after all. Deserve? You gotta be kidding, right? It's not like Shion wanted to see it with me. I just went along with her. I tried to say that, but I felt silent. Nothing would come out of me blaming others. It didn't matter how much everyone else encouraged me. I could have put my foot down. I lost my own half-assed sense of adventure and agreed to go in with them. So it was my fault and no one else's. Shion, last night when we snuck into the ritual storehouse, did you predict things would turn out this way? Of course not. I mean, I thought it was pretty risky, but I never dreamed something like this could happen. Her words were probably true feelings. She knew she could get in trouble if we were caught. But that was the thrill of this little adventure. It was the same for me. Besides that, Kei-chan, think about it. Didn't Oyashi's curse turn out a little strange this year? Already plenty strange seeing how Tomatake and Takano died. Even all that, what could possibly be stranger? They found 2 corpses. Remember what I said? Every other year, a person will die and a person will disappear. This year is the first time 2 people have been found dead. That may be true, but it's not a huge deal, is it? It is, Kei-chan. Think harder. Listen. If 2 people died because of Oyashiro-sama's curse, in order to quell the anger, 2 would need to be sacrificed. Is that how it works? So, Tomatake and Takano died. Now 2 people are going to go missing? I don't understand, but when I said that, I felt my spine freeze. I don't think anyone's been found missing yet.
I think that those people have yet to disappear. Shion, like me, was obviously getting the same feeling crawling on her back. 2 people have yet to disappear. Shion didn't answer. I couldn't say any more than that either. A chill crept in through my clothes and tried to wrap it in a fist in my heart, cold hands feeling about in my chest. Neither of us couldn't say anything. Tomotaki opened the lock and he died. Takano exposed the ritual storehouse and she died. If 2 more people were to be sacrificed, they'd be none other than the ones who entered with them. None other than us. No, this has got to be a joke. I wanted so much for her to pass this off as a joke even now. That, though, was such an incredibly difficult and selfish request. If Tomotaki and Takano had died in a common way like a car accident, I could tell myself it was coincidence. Instead, he clawed out his own throat, and she was burned to death, drowned in oil in the mountains. 2 deaths, out of the ordinary. I couldn't possibly dismiss it as mere coincidence. It was as if in exchange for sneaking into the ritual storehouse, there must be someone punishing us. Some sort of cruel will working behind the scenes. Even so, I still didn't want to accept the terrifying truth. If I did, then I would have to acknowledge that the horrible crisis was growing near for both of us. That's why I argued against it. I argued knowing that I was running away. In the first place, it's not even in the newspapers, is it? Such a monstrous incident would be all over the news and television. Magazine writers would flood the village too, thinking it might make for an interesting story. Why is this not getting reported by the media? That's how it was in the past too. When the incidents occurred for the 3rd year in a row, there was some third-rate magazines that sniffed it out the story and ran issues full of gossip columns about Hinamizawa. Fearing that the region would develop a negative stigma, they negotiated with the prefecture and the police. Since last year, it became a big conspiracy where no information about it was allowed to be leaked to the media. I hear the elders in the top brass from the Sonozaki put on pressure to go to the police. Then you mean their deaths are going to be dealt with in total secrecy? That's how it is. Of course the police are investigating it. That's being performed in secret too. So I hear the investigation itself is very restricted in what it can and can't do. You could essentially say they're interfering with a police investigation. This is getting unbelievable. People died, and yet they don't publicize it and deal with everything in secret. If we break it down further, it means no matter who dies on the night of the Watanagashi, it won't go public. Biggest pile of bullshit I have ever heard. Kei-chan, before I said how the villagers could be the ones carrying out the curse, this is what I mean. At some point a tradition was created here, where every year you're allowed to kill someone on the night of the festival, under the guise of it being Oyashiro-sama's curse. When someone dies on the night of the festival, it turns into the curse of Oyashiro-sama. The curse turns into the serial murder incidents. In order to avoid exacerbating the negative stigma surrounding Misawa, those incidents are dealt with in secret. That's insane! That means people turning up every year. However bad the stigma gets, the police have to draw the line somewhere, don't they? You could say happening every year is mysterious, but the police can't get the job done when they need to. After all, they always get resolved individually. It doesn't end up being some string of incidents, Just so happens, something unfortunate happens on the night of this festival every year. That's all it turns out to. Most of the criminals responsible from the original dismemberment were arrested. The last one managed to get away and stay away, but the events were totally exposed and elucidated, so it was an incident in essence resolved. The disappointing couple that died in an accident on a simple year? Accidental death, plain and simple.
They made a lot of investigations into the possibility of it having been a homicide, but they don't turn up anything. Ah, shit. It ends up as an incident. It was resolved. On the third year, the priest fell ill and passed away. Doctors presented the hospital to his deathbed, and all had trustworthy medical certificates. They even did an autopsy, and concluded it wasn't a homicide. Resolved. The fourth year, the sister-in-law of the dance-supporting couple was murdered. The criminal was a normal man with a history of regular psychostimulant usage. He confessed he, too, thought Higurashi's curse was so interesting, he wanted to try it out. The criminal died of an accident while imprisoned. The incident was essentially resolved. So that's right. None of the incidents had any relation to another, and each was independently resolved. So why does an unfortunate coincidence occur every year on this night? You can try and say it's a string of related incidents, but they're not related. Every year, someone dies and someone disappears. The story Takano told me the day before during the setup. Not that the curse really had occurred this year, I just couldn't laugh it off. Does it mean it'll come for us too? Just like how one person dies and one disappears? Are you saying we'll be taken along with Aki and Takano and be erased? My lips had at some point become completely dry, and just saying that, it was difficult. Shion didn't respond. Her silence was the clearest form of confirmation she could give me. Sure, we went somewhere we shouldn't have. But we were just looking, right? We didn't steal anything or take anything out, and we didn't tell anyone that we looked. I was already regretting having committed such a wrong. Even so, was it really that bad that Tomoaki and Takano deserved such cruel deaths? Besides, I didn't care about anything I saw in there at all. Takano was the only one getting so happy over it, wasn't she? She was the only one at fault. I don't have anything to do with this. I'm not interested. I'm not involved. I wouldn't give two shits of what was in there. I knew saying something wouldn't solve anything. I could feel myself, my cold self, in the innermost depths of my heart, disgusted at my pointless howling. However, my emotions had broken through the dam, and I just couldn't stop them. I didn't have interest in any of this from the start, damn it! All I wanted to do was watch Rika's performance. You were the one who pulled me away from that, weren't you? I didn't give a rat's ass whether the two were trying to steal something or trying to make up secretly or whatever. You were the one who made me go in the first place. You were all like, hey, Johnny, you can see what was inside. You convinced me and pulled me in. Why the hell did you do that? I didn't have anything to do with this. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do, damn it? How are you gonna take responsibility for this? Huh? Are you listening? Without a warning, the phone cut off with a soft sound or a receiver being slammed down. Shion was just as terrified as I was. I just said some really self-centered things. My riled up emotions disappeared as if they never existed, and in their place surged waves of deep regret at having run my mouth so irresponsibly. I could try to call out her name from beyond the disconnected phone, but I bet it was too late. What have I done? Shion was only trying to tell me as much as she could about this thing that was about to descend upon us, and I could only whine like a child about it. I want to call her back, but she lived in Okinomiya. I don't know her phone number. Since I had declared at Mion that I hadn't seen Shion last night, I couldn't just call her and ask her for Shion's number. I was too scared. I couldn't even call her back. I was stricken with hopeless regret. I returned the receiver to its stand, and I simply prayed that she'd call me back again. Please, Shion, calm down and call me again. Hello, this is Maibara. I swept to the receiver as though it wouldn't go through if I didn't grab it at that exact moment. Is this the Maibara residence? Excuse me for the late call. I'm Kimiyoshi. Is this the head of the household? The voice of a middle-aged man. All my hopes rushed out of me.
No, it isn't. If you need Dad, I'll go call him. I went to put the receiver down, but a man stopped me. Oh, no. If he's busy, then it's fine. This may be a strange question, but is my old man paying you a visit? Nobody's here at the moment. I see. Again, I apologize for calling you so late at night. Goodbye. I don't know who that was, but what if Shion tried to call me when I was talking to him? I thought, probably egotistic anger. Wait a minute. Give it a break. These are selfish emotions that made Shion mad at me, aren't they? The more I thought about it, the more I thought of Shion. That she had given up. And the hope she'd given up hope in the short time since we had our conversation. And didn't want to call anymore. Calm yourself, Keiichi. If she does call again, apologize. Calmly. If we do that, she'll understand. But no matter how long I waited, the phone didn't ring again that night. From the scrapbook and a late-night phone call. Significance of Watanagashi, a festival for hunting for sacrifices and feasting on them. While the festival itself is remarkable, it has come to be considered a form of entertainment, perhaps because of the disparity between being both an erogenous act and a form of entertainment. However, I found some very interesting literature that appears to raise questions about the explanation. As with most oral traditions, it's not easily swallowed, but does mention a few things that spark interest. According to the literature, even the residents of Onikafuchi village felt fear towards this ritual. Women and children would grow pale and tremble, and those of weak constitution would vomit. But it said that the feast was an obligatory viewing, an extremely curious tale. Until now, I thought that the residents of Onikafuchi village were fascinated by the Watanagashi ritual. They looked down on those vulgar, barbaric humans, cutting them open like fish, and by eating them they reaffirmed their own holiness. At least that's what I thought. However, what the villagers gained from this ritual was not fascination but fear, then that would suggest the ritual meant something entirely different. There's the possibility that these were meant as warnings, encouraging villagers to strictly follow religious precepts created by those with power for their own convenience. Onikafuchi village had been effectively ruled over by 3 families. Without investigating the 3 families, I probably wouldn't get any closer to the truth of Onikafuchi village. The 3 families refers to the 3 eldest families, who effectively came to rule Onikafuchi village. There were the Kimiyoshi family, the Furude family, and the Sonozaki family. Each of them still exists to this day. Though they don't have as much control as they did in the remote past, they still hold considerable influence. The 3 families are considered by legend to be those with whom the blood of the swamp demons runs the thickest. The Kimiyoshi family they appear to have held great power as the head of the 3 families, but they didn't have that kind of leadership today. The current mayor of the village, Yoshichiro Kimiyoshi, is from this family. The fact that members of the Kimiyoshi family have elected a mayor, or are elected as mayor every generation, is thought to be a remnant of the old system. Of course, as no rival candidates appear, it doesn't change the fact that the Kimiyoshi family holds the mayoral office, even through popular elections in the post-war era. The The center of the village is faith since ancient times. The Furude clan has guarded the sole shrine dedicated to Oyashiro. They were worshipped as the only people to represent the voice of Oyashiro for a long time. But the family branched off after the war and lost most of its power. It now consists of only the main house. The main house as well presents to consist of only one daughter, Rika Furude, so the lineage may end in this generation. There is apparently an old tradition of honoring females of the Furude family, so the only daughter Rika is the subject of much respect among the elderly of the village. And lastly, the Sonozaki family. It is said that this family had a certain police-like role of protecting the religious precepts of Onikafuchi village, but the three families, the Sonosaki's relatively weak position can be seen from me putting them here last. Of course, today the Sonosaki family is flourishing, and the state of affairs among the three families has completely reversed. Even now, one could say that they are in control of Inamizawa. The three families conferring with each other is similar to the old way the current head of the Sonosaki family, Oryu, essentially decides all the ongoings by herself. And lastly, that phone call. Excuse me for the late call. I'm Kimiyoshi. Is this head of the household? Yes? No, not at all. Thank you very much for that. Yes. Well, you see, I do apologize for calling at this hour, but I was wondering if our old man was visiting you at the moment. You got that right. Yes. Once again, I'm very sorry for calling so late, but goodbye. So, no good. I'm not sure what to do. He may be passionate about it, but he always at least gives us a call. You called everyone he plays Go with, don't you? Hello, this is Kimiyoshi. This is Sonozaki. How did it go? Have you found the mayor? Oh, Mion-chan. I called everyone I could think of, but I came up with nothing. We can't find him. What do I do? Where could he be idling about? I put a word in with a bunch of people who might have an idea, but nobody did. I asked Anna about it, and she said we should get the men of the village together to search him. At this hour? I mean, it's not like he's definitely gone missing. Watch Nagashi just happened. She thinks we should be a little more cautious. If we still can't find him, we'll notify the police tomorrow morning. Whatever now we find him, though, we should refrain from making any false accusations. Or you said that? Yeah. If you can't trust her without hearing her voice, then I can put her wrong for you. That's fine, I understand. We will get the men together and search. If we still can't find him, then we'll notify the police in the morning. She'll leave it to you to organize the men. I'll be there as well as Anna's representative. Thank you. I'll get everyone together immediately. Thanks. I'll talk to you later. So it seems I might be in a bit of trouble. We are definitely screwed.